To the outward, to the rest of the world, there is nothing about you that seems fragile. You're this tough. If you took your shirt off, I know you're ripped. You lift weights. You're arguably one of the best athletes of the last half a century. Your ability to climb these mountains without oxygen. You were the hottest photographer at National Geographic until you left. I know you're a spokesman for what kind of watch you have?
Vacheron Constantin.
Vacheron, which is the icon of fashion, and your billboards on Sunset Boulevard. And people would look at you and say, God, this guy has it all. He's talented. He's good looking. He's in shape. God,
I feel so good watch right now. This is great.
But there's something underneath that not everybody sees right away, isn't there?
Yeah, and it is interesting to look at the dichotomy, because I think so often people that achieve a high level of success are driven by a deep reservoir of pain. And that pain is a way to connect to a larger swath or totality of the human experience, but it is very, very hard. And for me, that has presented in... and I'm not a big fan of diagnoses because I think there's too much story attached to them. But when I was young, I was diagnosed with Bipolar II when I was about 14. Before that, it was anxiety and depression. And
tell us what bipolar is for those. But I mean, what are you experiencing if you're bipolar? What is?
Well, so bipolar 1 and 2, and of course now we're learning it's much more spectrumy than that.
And it's a great book too.
Yeah, well. Both poles, right? I photographed from the Arctic to Antarctica.
Yeah.
So it is a cluster of behaviors that are characterized by very high highs and very low lows. And so if you imagine the normal range of human experience as a globe, and the equator is where most people, or, above and below the equator is where most people operate. Well, when you're bipolar, as per the name,
you're at Everest and then you're down
You're a polar explorer, right? Yeah. And so bipolar 2 is characterized by what's referred to as hypomania, which is not the North Pole, but it's in the Arctic Circle, right?
Okay.
And so mania would be the North Pole, and that can verge into psychosis and things like that, where that's where people are selling houses and betting on their entire money and like not even making sense sometimes when they're speaking.
And at this very moment, talking now, your vulnerable opportunity, where are you right now in that?
Honestly, right now, I'm in a, again, nobody would see this necessarily, but I'm in a significant down cycle. Where, and again, I'm cautious about oversharing but this is an environment where I think it's important. Like 2 days ago, I sat on the edge of my bed for 2 hours and just stared. And this is amidst starting a business. This is amidst, a very full,
stared because you didn't know what to do next, or just frozen with sadness? I just
couldn't move. I was just that sad, and those things come, and they're very, very challenging, because when balanced against the other things that I have, to your point, done in my life, it feels like a catastrophic failure. A failure.
It doesn't matter what you've done.
It doesn't matter. In fact, it doesn't even register. And the interesting thing about a lot of depressive experiences is that it sort of erases the memory of anything of ever feeling better. It's like that. It's very hard to connect back to that.
What does the sadness feel like right now?
Well, right now it's lifted, right? Because I'm with people that I care about, right? I'm engaged in a meaningful conversation. I feel seen. And so in this moment, it feels slightly lifted. But if I'm careful and mindful, I can connect to that sadness and what it feels like.
There's kind of a lesson right there. I'd just like to pull out. I don't even think you realized it. But the fact that you found the antidote for sadness in a meaningful conversation and people who care about you, and an engagement of purpose. And I think that's so often, those are things that are accessible to everybody.
All the time.
Everybody.
Yep.
And they're the best medicine. I mean, could you take a pill right now and feel better?
Not for this. I mean, it would take, I could take MDMA and I'd feel better for a few hours. But
but then there's hell to pay tomorrow.
Yeah, then there's hell to pay tomorrow. But you're right. I mean, that's truly what this is about. The opposite of depression is not happiness, it's connection.
Really?
That's how I view it. I think happiness has been appropriated and commodified, right? Connection isn't necessarily I feel happy. It's I am no longer immersed in my own pain.
You came with me, so I can reference this, but you photographed Denmark. Is 2018 cover?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was the January cover of National Geographic. You took the best picture, but you came with me to Denmark. I remember the kids jumping and Singapore. And we learned from that happiness is the sum of having your needs taken care of, food and shelter. You need health care. You need some mobility. You need a feeling of giving back. You deserve to treat yourself once in a while. Somebody to love, somebody who loves you. There are really there's clear componentry to happiness.
Right.
And connection, I think, is one of them.
Yeah.
All right, if you're looking for your next actionable step to stop wishing and start doing, go ahead and click the video on your screen right now. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you can keep getting the practical advice you need to live longer and better. Be a huge favor to me. And we'll see you in the next episode. I guarantee you'll like it even better than the one you just saw.